All right, let's jump right in. You know how your work phone, your mobile, your laptop, all your video calls, they all feel like they're living in completely separate worlds, right? Well, that's all about to change. We're in the middle of this huge shift, what we're calling the Great Convergence, where all these different streams of communication are finally flowing together into one single, smart, and totally seamless structure. So today, we're going to build that future, piece by piece.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? For so long, we've thought about these things separately, the Wi-Fi in your office versus the 5G on your phone. But what the experts are saying is pretty clear. The people who win the next decade aren't going to be the ones with the best single network. They'll be the ones who absolutely master the blend between all of them.
So here's our game plan. Think of it like we're building a technology stack from the ground up. We'll start with the foundation, that's all the underlying networks. Then we'll layer on the platform, which is the software and tools we use every single day. We'll top it all off with the interface, which is how we're going to see and interact with everything. And then we'll look at the road ahead, the timeline for when this all actually becomes our reality.
Yeah, for years, our digital lives have been stuck in these silos. Your office phone system had no idea your mobile data plan existed, and your video conference app was its own little island. The Great Convergence is all about just tearing down those walls. It's about building one cohesive stack where everything just works together, intelligently and automatically, without you even having to think about it.
So let's start at the very bottom, with the layer that makes everything else even possible. I mean, before we can have all the cool apps and 3D interfaces, the basic plumbing has to work perfectly. We have to merge the actual networks themselves.
The key technology here has a name: Fixed Mobile Convergence, or FMC. You know what this is in real life? It's when you start a video call on your office Wi-Fi, you walk out of the building, and that call just seamlessly switches to 5G without dropping. You don't even notice. That's FMC. It's the brains behind integrating our fixed and mobile networks into one beautiful, unified system.
And listen, this is not some tiny niche experiment. This foundational layer is a massive economic engine. The market for fixed mobile convergence is expected to hit nearly $200 billion by 2030. That's huge. It shows this massive worldwide demand for a connection that never, ever drops, and it's growing at almost 13% every year. This is the absolute bedrock of the future we're building.
Now, what's really fascinating here is if you look at where the money is going. The biggest slice of this pie, almost 40%, is in that core service of voice and data convergence. What that tells us is that the main driver for this entire market is just a fundamental human need to talk, to browse, to communicate smoothly without ever having to worry about what network we're on.
Okay, foundation is laid. We've got a single, unified network. So let's move up to the next layer in our stack, the platform. These are the tools we actually use, the things we click on every day. Think Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and all that collaboration software that basically runs our work lives now.
And no surprise, just like the network layer, this software layer is absolutely enormous. The market for what we call Unified Communication and Collaboration, or UC&C, is on track to be worth over $180 billion in the next decade. That's the price tag on bringing all of our different communication tools together in one place.
But here's where it gets really interesting. A little bit of a twist. For years, the story has been everything is moving to the cloud, right? Well, the data shows something else entirely. Almost twice as many businesses are actually pulling some of their infrastructure back on site, away from the cloud. Why? They want more control, more security. It's not a one-way street anymore. It's a hybrid approach.
And this chart shows you exactly why that's happening. For big companies, the #1 priority for their communication platform is no longer the price. It's security and compliance. In a world full of cyber threats and data regulations, these enterprises are basically saying that keeping their data safe is way more important than saving a few bucks.
So in the middle of all this complexity, one central hub is starting to emerge. Microsoft Teams has become this absolute behemoth. Get this. Over 40% of organizations are now plugging their old-school phone systems directly into Teams. It's way more than a chat app now. It's becoming the command center for all business communication.
And here's the paradox. Even with a giant like Teams taking over, a staggering 77% of companies are still using multiple suppliers, usually between 2 and 4 of them. It seems like they're trying to find that perfect balance, right? They want the simplicity of a single platform, but they're also hedging their bets, not wanting to put all their eggs in one basket. All right, we've got our foundation. We've got our platform. Now for the really fun part, the interface. This is the layer that completely changes how we see and interact with this whole converged digital world. We are moving beyond the flat screen.
Seriously, just pause and think about that for a second. Our entire lives we've interacted with the digital world through a flat piece of glass. But what if we didn't have to? What if your emails, your video calls, your data, what if it all had actual depth and existed in the physical space around you?
This isn't science fiction, folks. This is the next massive market. Look at these numbers. Holographic displays, extended reality, or XR, they're already projected to be worth tens of billions of dollars. And when you zoom out and look at the whole ecosystem, the advertising, the entertainment built around it all, we are talking about a market that's going to be well over $120 billion by 2030.
So how do we get there from here? Well, there's a pretty clear path. We start with the bulky headsets we have today. The really critical next step, though, is AI glasses. Think simple, lightweight glasses that just do audio and have an AI assistant. They're the gateway drug that gets us all comfortable with wearing tech on our face. From there, we add a simple visual heads-up display with AR glasses, perfect for directions or notifications. And that all leads to the final goal, true mixed reality glasses. A sleek device that perfectly and seamlessly blends our physical and digital worlds.
And this isn't some far-off dream. People are building this stuff right now. By 2030, you're going to see this in action. In stores, expect 10 to 15% of high-end displays to be holographic. Online, we already know that adding 3D visuals can boost sales by a mind-blowing 94%. When you travel, you might get directions from a holographic AI avatar in the airport. Doctors will be training on incredibly realistic 3D holograms of the human body. And in the business world, holographic meetings will start to become a real thing.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing. But I know the question you're all asking. When? When does this actually happen? So let's take a closer look at the timeline for when these new devices are actually going to hit the mainstream.
You know, the roadmap is surprisingly clear. We're already seeing the first AR glasses for consumers start to get some traction right now. Then, in the early 2030s, those simpler AI glasses will probably hit their peak, having done their job of getting us all used to the idea. The real game changer, the first true mixed reality glasses, are predicted to show up around 2032. And then mass adoption will really kick in after 2037 once the tech gets better and the prices come down.
So there you have it, the future of communication built right in front of you. It starts with that converged foundation of fixed and mobile networks. On top of that, we have a unified platform of collaborative tools, and our window into this new world is an immersive 3D interface, all powered by extended reality. And that really brings us to the final thought, because this isn't just about cool new tech, it's about our experience of reality itself. As this seamless convergence happens, as our physical and digital lives truly start to merge, we're going to see incredible new opportunities for creativity and connection. But it also forces us to ask a really important question. In a world with no digital boundaries, what parts of our physical reality, what might we lose? It's the great trade-off that we're all going to be facing.